through to the quarter-finals. Next up for them, of course, Real Madrid in the Champions League for Newcastle. That daunting 2 legs against Barcelona. Manchester City did well. This is Manchester City reserves, pretty much, did very well. But I just feel a little bit the story is Newcastle, because I don't understand what happened after being so good for the opening 15, 20 minutes.
Well, the biggest problem Newcastle generally have, particularly at home, is they play on emotion. And when you play on emotion, it means you're giving every single thing, every single minute. And so when you've just come off what they've come off the last couple of games, and you don't have that energy, then they blew a gasket. You know, they had such a good start. Clearly before the game they were revved up. You know, let's not forget about what happened the last couple of games. Let's make sure we're at it. And they were. But unfortunately, they couldn't sustain it. And Newcastle cannot sustain that type of energy, playing with that sort of emotion in front of that crowd. And that allowed City, when they dropped, to get in the game. And after that, then City just took them by the throat. You know, it's funny that sometimes we talk about when you make so many changes, you're playing basically reserve players, or players that are not playing.
Yes.
And the worry is that they won't have enough in their legs because of that. But it actually went in Manchester City's favour. They absolutely had more legs when it mattered most. And when they took control, that extra energy, you know, breathing. When you breathe, people forget, it goes straight to the brain, it clears the brain. Newcastle couldn't breathe. They couldn't think straight. And so City, not only did they have the legs, they had the brains, they had the composure, they had the ability, they had the players, the goals, you name it. And so for me, that last hour of that game, Manchester City were absolutely in control.
For more of Stevie's meditation classes, be sure to click on the QR code, which we'll be showing you later on. Ali, we talk about the depth that Arsenal have. There's a lot of depth this Manchester City side, which obviously is going to play when you're looking at the fact they're still fighting on the Champions League front as well as the Premier League as well.
Yes, there is depth, but not at the same level that Arsenal has. So yes, you may have 2 players per position, but those 2 players per position are not playing as well as those 2 players per position are for Arsenal. So that's why the comparison is a little apples and oranges. Arsenal, I think, and their depth is probably the best in Europe, whereas Manchester City, even their best group hasn't been consistent enough. And that's why you find difficulties in believing in Manchester City as it pertains to Champions League. It was hard to believe in Manchester City today for the first 20 minutes. If you had been watching this game for the first 20 minutes and you had to go to the grocery store, you would never have imagined that there would have been the turnaround that we saw today.
Sometimes you have to just go and meditate, Alex.
Yes.
Sometimes you got to breathe.
The cutting-edge analysis of breathing. Yes, well, truth is, and give Manchester City credit, in that those guys that got an opportunity today that I was questioning in the pregame, they were very good. Now, a combination of that is Newcastle not breathing enough, apparently, and Manchester City just being able to have outstanding performances. Savinho, he didn't mean to score the goal, but he did mean to take on defenders the whole day, and he was doing that time and time again. Stevie in the pregame highlighted Jeremy Doku getting an opportunity, and he was dangerous over the course of the match when he was on the field. Marmoush getting an opportunity, scores 2 goals, and you're thinking, if you're Pep Guardiola and you had set out a perfect scenario for this match, of course you don't want to give up the first goal, and you don't want to play the first 20 minutes that you did play, but on the balance of the 90 minutes, this is exactly how you would have imagined and envisioned the game going. That these guys that get an opportunity were outstanding on the day, win the match, and now you focus on what's ahead. And to your point, what's ahead is Real Madrid, Champions League, where that depth is going to be tested.
Real Madrid next. They're going to this game favourites, rightly so, considering what we've seen from Real Madrid, Ali, and from what we've seen from City, in the fact they've been able to rest 10 players.
Yes, and this could have been a stressful match for Manchester City and ended up being not so.
Yeah.
Whereas you watched Real Madrid play yesterday, and every minute of that match was stressful. And there is pressure that surrounds this team. There is pressure that surrounds Arbeloa. So beyond the physical aspect of the game and the fact that Real Madrid just haven't played well, and haven't played well for a while, and haven't created enough opportunity, haven't scored enough goals. They've had their issues defensively. They get disconnected in the midfield. Beyond all of that, then there is an aspect of, how are you feeling? going into this match? What is your level of confidence going into this match? And you must say the Real Madrid, if indeed they present themselves as confident, they're making it up. They're lying to you straight to your face, because there is nothing to really draw confidence from, not even winning yesterday. Winning yesterday was due to a deflection that, if had the ball gone off the post and in for Iago Aspas with minutes to go, it would have been yet another defeat, 3 in a row in La Liga. So Real Madrid are barely hanging on. Manchester City are coming in this, I wouldn't say flying, but feeling a whole lot better about themselves after this result against Newcastle.